Do you have to have webcam on?
Okay, children,
Your face is
please
scary.
quiet down. Welcome everybody to episode 7, part 3. This is going to be Gwen giving her awesome fucking horror segment. Not horrors, sadly. Horror.
Yeah, that's my segment.
Maybe the horrible horror of horrors.
If you want to hear about horrors, wait for the shitposting segment.
Shut up and Hey, you know what? Quit shitposting verbally and let Gwen do her thing, huh?
Yeah, that's the next segment, man. Come on, keep your shit together.
There's a lot of us with no talk.
Just random.
We're having a good time.
The first thing I'm good at that.
Alright.
I'm just being
My balls itch.
It's like it's like already past my bedtime.
Gwen's talking. Shush.
It's past my bedtime.
I love you, Nick.
Fuck.
Horror is a genre dear to my heart, and I find that it's so broad, and there are so many different types of horror. I mean, you got your spooky ghost, your stuff that's just supposed to be spooky, ambiance horror. You've got your supernatural stuff. You've got your splatterpunk, your Lovecraftian. You've got your torture porn. You've got zombies are basically their own genre now, as are vampires.
People mutilating my balls.
Yeah, that's a horror too.
Why are we talking?
There's also horror that's just there to be disgusting.
Right.
It's not horror so much as I want to throw up.
That kind of falls under splatterpunk and torture porn.
Human
though, I think.
Centipede? Yeah, Human Centipede probably does.
Fuck.
God, that thing is creepy and disgusting. But yeah, it probably does. But you can be disgusting without necessarily being splatterpunk or torture porn. But those are the ones where you tend to get all the blood and the guts.
Yeah, I found a flow chart.
Hostels were.
I love flow chart.
I want to hear about Raimi's.
There's also possession, exorcist type stuff.
Hostel 2. Which one was that when he slit his...
No, Hostel 3. He got his dick cut off.
The problem is your flowchart won't load.
Well, it has it divided into 5 categories: gore and disturbing, psychological, killer, monster, and paranormal. Under gore and disturbing, they have torture, splatter, cannibal, and extreme. Under psychological, they have phobia and isolation, fanaticism, madness and paranoia, and home invasion, which also creeps over into killer. Under killer, they have slasher, crime, and a word I can't pronounce. Backwoods and redneck, a la Deliverance, and then home invasion with the crossover there. Under monster, they have zombie, which has 2 subcategories, undead and virus, vampire, werewolf, classic and mythological, neo-monsters, giant monsters, animals in nature, small creatures, and aliens. And aliens has a little bitty crossover into paranormal. And under paranormal, we have our ghosts and spirits, haunted houses, possessions, devils, demons, and hell, witchcraft and occult, and the supernatural.
Type that word you can't pronounce into the chat.
Yeah, can we actually put this into the YouTube for people who are watching?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of cool.
No.
It's a good link.
Not acceptable.
It's much better
Because
than
we
you guys can
know
read
much
and remember
class.
everything.
Class has nothing to visually reference here.
It's just I'm not really good at it. I put it on my Twitter. I just think it's on my Twitter as well.
Nick, you're actually really good at putting a link into YouTube chat. So if you want to go ahead and do that for us, go for it.
Brian, you have no power here. You unbearable faggot.
Thank you, Nick.
It's important because our specialty is basically psychological and paranormal horror, personally, because that's what I love the most. I love that kind of shit. I love I love all the supernatural horror, and I find
For me, I didn't really think a lot of the stuff. Okay, I'm weird. Let's just put that out there right now. But a lot of the stuff that they're listing as horror, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk about Hellraiser, is a lot of the things that we list under horror, for me personally, are not horrific. So
I love Hellraiser. Hellraiser is one of those mindfucks of a...
I know people who don't find
Hey, you know what?
ghosts scary, but they find serial killers scary, so...
Well, I think also you have to ask the question of how much our culture has been become less
Desensitized?
sensitive. Yeah, desensitized. Because I mean, like for example,
Unless
Bioshock.
you're talking about sex on screen. In that case, whoa, Nelly, hold on there.
All the fucking.
For example, I started playing Bioshock, and I was actually really, really creeped out. Like the first 20 minutes, I was like, "Holy crap! There's shadows and things attacking me in the dark and shit."
Yeah.
And then like now I'm playing, and I'm like, "Okay, I can handle this." But like I'm not a horror guy, so like the stuff that I consider horror is way beyond what most
But
people
But
who
Yeah.
watch
I
horror.
think
I
there's
think
a
what it comes
difference
down to
between
is
suspense.
Hey,
ambiance.
shut up and let
Yeah.
Remy talk.
I think there's a big difference.
got white knighted hard.
Let Remy talk, or I'm going to slash you in the face.
There's
Yeah,
a large difference between suspense and horror, though. And this is just a personal opinion thing, because again, there are things that are horrific and induce horror. Being frightened doesn't mean that something is horrific. It means it scares you. And I think that sometimes we mislabel things as being horrific that aren't. For instance, they have the Alien movies listed in horror. Those movies scare the crap out of me. Are they necessarily horrific? I'm not sure. On the other hand, something like Cannibal Holocaust, definitely horrific. Didn't scare me at all. Kind of made me want to throw up a lot.
The problem is that horror is a catch-all for horrific stuff and fear. It's the genre that's always been about trying to give scares and chills and gut reactions.
Yeah.
While everything may not be horrific, the point of horror was to be a catch-all for everything that scares or disturbs you. So it kind of can bleed into suspense, but a lot of suspense stuff tends to be horror, and then you have the suspense stuff that isn't really horror. It's just if you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's also point out that we're talking about emotional reactions at this point, and so there's a very wide brush that's being painted. And so for some people, a lot of stuff that is suspenseful is horrific, and for a lot of people who are more desensitized, stuff that's like they can draw that line between suspense
I don't
and
know
horror.
At the same time, let's not overanalyze it.
Though. Like that, desensitized has a lot of negative connotations, and I definitely don't consider myself to be desensitized at all. I mean, I'm the
more
first
used to it.
person who will have like a broken heart if I see like an animal that's in any sort of pain, but I will sit through movies like Cannibal Holocaust and not flinch. So it's desensitized is an icky word. And not like that how you're using it, but the way that society perceives it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But let's
I
talk
mean,
about
we
some
can
good
take- we can
movies.
take that here too.
There's a
Talk about some
movie that
movies.
came out about a year ago called Alien Abduction, and I don't get scared by any horror movies, but it's based on a true abduction story, and it's fucking
Was that the
terrible.
one with Mila Jovovich?
No.
That was,
kind.
Screw that Mila movie. Screw it so hard in the eye socket.
Yep.
I want to go.
What?
That movie insulted me, and I'm an idiot. So let's figure that one out, huh?
I'm terrified of grays, like with the
Yeah.
almond eyes and all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
I went to see Paranormal Activity in the movie theater, and I got so scared during the it was night one, it was opening night. During the freaking trailers, I ran out of my shoes so that I didn't see the Alien trailer, because I just saw Mila Jovovich's face explaining stuff, and then it flashed an owl, and I screamed, "Oh, fuck no!" And I just ran. I was like up over the row and out of the theater, and the guys were like, "The movie hasn't even started yet." They had people in the aisles to help us because people were so scared of Paranormal Activity.
Mila Jovovich.
Oh my god.
Hey, Ryan.
All right.
What's that?
Actually, if you if all ghosts are considered horror,
Yeah.
and I know a really good ghost movie that plays with some conventions of the genre that seems like most people don't even know of it.
Well, I wouldn't say that all this flowchart that we're referencing doesn't mean that everything with ghosts is horror, but that movies that are supposed to be horror within.
It is.
Oh god.
Guys,
Well, it scares my
Guys,
partner.
stop muting each
No,
other.
don't-
I know.
It does.
Damn
It does scare my partner, and it did scare one of my friends. So it definitely
Hey.
has all the horror elements on
John.
top of being about ghosts.
The ability to take away that ability.
People stop muting each other because that's
John.
driving me crazy. I just wanted to say something.
I apologize for
I
my
want to mention
asshole.
the name of the movie. Watch Haunter. If you like spooky ghost stories, your fear level may vary, but it is a good take on ghost stories as a genre.
I will definitely add it to the list.
Your fear may vary.
You need to check if you like movies
Because it
like
didn't scare me.
alien movies. You need to check out one that just came out called Signal. Another true story.
Oh my gosh, Gwen, this is by the guy that did Cube.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I love Cube.
It's Vincino Natali. He's brilliant.
Don't get
He's
spoiled.
absolutely
Don't read
wonderful.
too much about the movie, or the best part of it will get spoiled.
Oh no, I won't. Just because he's so lovely though. Like the stuff that he does is really good, and he's from Detroit. But that's awesome. He also did Splice, which I really enjoyed. So cool. I will
Splice was
definitely
good.
check it
I
out.
like the film.
Wasn't Splice a film where Adrian Brody does that thing?
Yeah, and it was the movie with the girl who looks like the girl who plays Catwoman on Gotham.
Oh, all right.
Except she's not spliced. That's her natural look.
And then she gets turned into a dude.
What?
Oh no, I really wanted to see this. This is actually on my list. I'm a bit behind. Thank you for reminding me.
What movie?
Haunter. It looks really
It's
good.
a really good take on. It's a really good twist on the usual ghost story, creepy, scary genre, and I think it needs to be watched because there aren't enough people trying to push the limits and do new things with sort of the types of horror that exist, and that's always a problem. Like, as soon as you see something interesting and unique, like the old Freddy and Jason movies, there's a bajillion clones, and no one takes any risks for like ever. Like, I bet you there's going to be a million haunted house movies now, and most of them are just going to suck, and people are going to not take risks for a long time again.
John's got a movie he wants to recommend.
So, do any of you guys like Paranormal Activity?
I've seen all of them in the theater except for the last two that were straight to DVD.
I didn't like them because you could tell they were fake.
Have any of you guys seen Grave Encounters?
Yeah, that wasn't very good either.
I really like it.
I appreciated the very first Paranormal Activity. I didn't appreciate because I thought it did a lot with ambiance, but I didn't feel the others were as good. I mean, there were a few interesting tricks in the second one, but overall, I guess it's not my favorite, but I don't hate it.
Yeah,
Well, Paranormal.
I've seen the Grave Encounters. I've seen 1 and 2. I don't know if are there more, or is it just the 2?
No. Also Wreck 2. The first 2 Wrecks.
Yeah, well, the original Wreck is good. The American is not.
I actually prefer the sequel to the original more than... What's so funny, Jonathan?
No, I wasn't thinking anything funny. Actually, I actually wanted to comment on the Paranormal, all the sequels for Paranormal, because the charm of the first Paranormal is like there's something you get from first movies that you never get from sequels, and especially if there's a whole thing where like supposedly even the actors don't know what's going on. Once you get to the sequels, you all know it's a complete setup, and you kind of start looking for those things. And so you can't experience the second and third and fourth movie in the same way that you always experience the first one.
But at that point, you're hooked into the story. I mean, I love the Paranormal Activities movies. I no shame in it at all, and not from like an it scared me standpoint. The first one I saw in the theater, and like I said, I ran out during the trailers. I came back into the theater, found my shoes because I wasn't sure where they were, and watching that movie with I dived. It was awesome. Watching that movie with a sold out audience that I just climbed over, that was all scared. Day 17, or no, was it day 17? I have it written down on my blog, but there were certain days, people's responses, not so much my own, but you start to feed off the energy of the theater. So whereas I wouldn't have been frightened at Big Bird's footprints, those in the theater being as scared as they were made it so much more enjoyable.
It's like a massive hysteria thing, right?
Yeah, it was wonderful, and it was just really fun to experience because I didn't get to enjoy 80s horror movies in the theater. I didn't get jump scares.
Speaking of 80s horror movies and the remakes, have you guys seen the new Nightmare on Elm Street? And if so, what was your thoughts?
I like the new one because it pushed all of the dirty, nasty boundaries that the originals were not able to.
The whole child molester thing?
It's like
I loved it.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Jackie Earl Haley did an excellent job, I thought, as Freddy Krueger. I thought
I
he
think
was
Jason
excellent.
was saying something.
Yeah.
It's
Jason?
like the remake.
Yeah, I mean,
That all the things that they only implied in the original.
Looks cool.
I don't.
Yeah, it was. I
Yes,
really
it was,
enjoyed the
Jason.
remake, and I think that and those were my favorite horror movies. But I always felt like they were like Clive Barker films, but castrated.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the remake just went all the way and pushed those boundaries, I enjoyed it. And the casting, the boy who was the main character, I have a huge crush on that actor as well, so it helped. But
I will say, Freddy's Dead is a brilliant movie.
Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, the sixth one.
The Final Nightmare.
Yeah.
Done by Rachel Talalay, who was going to do the Preacher show. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. So great.
Now, listen, those movies are patently ridiculous on the face of them. Like, everything pretty much past the first one, actually. But I fucking love them. I love them. That was part of my childhood. Like, I remember going over to friends' houses just to watch those movies. Like, you know, I was in foster care growing up, so, like, my foster parents were pretty strict, but then I'd I'd cut out and go to a friend's house and watch the Freddy movies, and I fucking love them. And that's why they kind of have a special place in my heart, you know. A lot of them were shit, but, you know.
Yeah, just skip 4 and 5.
Yeah. And actually.
I want to...
Oh, go ahead, Gwen.
Yeah, Gwen.
Well, I just wanted to mention, but if you guys won't get you talking about Freddy, I'll be quiet and wait a little bit.
No, you go.
I wanted to mention a couple other movies real quick. The... God, now I'm trying to remember the name. Well, here's one obscure one. Or not obscure, it was in theaters. It was called Haunting in Connecticut. I thought that was an interesting movie.
Wait, what's that called?
He was in that movie too. Yes, that is a good movie. He's so cute.
Which one?
I mean, what? The Haunting in Connecticut?
The Haunting. Okay, I'm gonna Google this.
I'm trying to remember the name.
Dead Snow is really good.
There's a movie that came out recently. It was about a haunted house and a family, and like these
why are they
exorcists.
Why are they making movies about my life?
Trying to remember.
That's fucked up.
What is it called?
The Haunting in Daryl's house.
Yeah, it was The Haunting in Connecticut was really good. Kyle Gallner is the actor that I keep talking about, and he seems to be like our generation's Scream Queen. Well, not mine, but the current generation's Scream Queen. I mean, because he's in The Haunting in Connecticut, Jennifer's Body.
Kyle Gallner.
Yeah, he's adorable. That's a good movie too.
I wasn't able to see The Conjuring 2. I wanted to see that one so badly, but I hope it's out on DVD sometime soon. And someone can
You're right. That guy was in.
Can I say
Nightmare on
my
Elm Street,
problem with The Conjuring? Has everybody seen it that wants to?
No.
See it, so we don't
Just go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm probably never gonna see it. So.
Okay, it's a PG-13 horror movie, and here was my problem with The Conjuring. I hated the last 25% of the first movie that those guys did. What was that thing called? It actually scared me.
It wasn't
hold on 1
Picture
second.
Balls, right?
No, I have not seen your balls. Insidious. Okay, so the same
Insidious,
people
yes.
made
God,
Insidious that made The
Insidious.
Conjuring. So I loved Insidious for the first 75% of the movie, and then when he left his body, I was done. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is like they're trying to bring in like the guy from Saw, and it just got stupid.
Which one was Insidious, Remy?
It was where the little boy was astral projecting and got pulled away from his body.
Yeah.
It was frightening. It was genuinely frightening, and not in like an over-the-top, in-your-face sort of way.
Sure.
But I went out to my yard with my friend to go get more beer. He's 6'5" and 200 pounds. I didn't know. I knew he was beside me, and he went, boo. Really quiet. I was so worked up from the first half of that movie that I jumped and screamed. So I loved it. And then we got back with our beer and are watching the rest of the movie. And the end of it, I was just like, wow, I'm so let down. So I went into The Conjuring with super low expectations. I had zero expectations going into it, and was really pleasantly surprised because it was frightening all the way up till the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that really redeemed them from the lackluster ending to Insidious.
What'd you guys think of the Evil Dead remake?
I actually liked it more than the original. but not as good as the sequels.
Which one?
The Evil
The
Dead remake.
new one? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't bother seeing it.
No.
No, Bruce Campbell, don't give a care.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm kind of the same way, but I'm with John here
The chat.
John, in the sense that I liked it a lot more than the original, actually.
Let's put it. Each movie is not a remake of the other. There's
Well, no.
there's a timeline, and then one is like in between.
Evil Dead 2 is arguably a remake of the first one.
What was it? I think it was like an alternate time. Anyways, I really liked Army of Darkness.
Well, yeah.
I'm not a horror guy, so obviously like my horror tastes are probably shit. But I found it like really entertaining. It's a movie that like I wasn't scared, but I watched it and I was like, this is awesome.
Horror comedies are great.
Yeah, I love the Army of Darkness, and I love the fact that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are doing a fucking Evil Dead TV show.
They are?
Yes,
Sam
they are.
Raimi
I miss
Yes, they are.
He can
Absolutely.
keep touching things he created. When Sam is doing stuff that he created, is spot on and great. And if he's busy
Sure.
doing that, it means he'll leave my
Yeah.
things alone.
We talked about this last episode,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. Like his Oz is a shot-for-shot remake of Army of Darkness. Seriously.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's great when he's doing his own thing. I didn't
Absolutely.
bother seeing the remake just because I'm kind of over remakes at this point. I mean, they're doing a
Sure.
remake of Hellraiser, and I'm just like, why?
Really?
Why?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not super thrilled. I mean, those movies are so important to
No,
me.
Rem-
Sure. And they're
See,
great.
but the thing about that is, like, pretty much Hollywood has run out of ideas to be creative. Like, there's a
No,
lot
it's not Hollywood that's doing this. This is actually
Tucker versus Dale
Clive.
versus Evil. Tucker and
Oh
Dale
yeah,
versus
that's a
Evil.
great
is great.
movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Hollywood in general isn't necessarily pushing all the remakes.
Yeah. Sure.
It's that the creators didn't have the money or
But
the
Clive-
able to control what they wanted. Clive had a lot of chains put on him with,
Really?
yeah, he
He got
chains
a
on
freaking
Clive
hand-
Barker.
Yeah, right. He's a Cenobite.
The thing with Clive is that a lot of the homosexual undertones he had to take out of his films when they were first coming out and then being edited, and he wanted with the Hellraiser remake to make it a little bit more true to what he wanted it to be. Like Nightbreed, the movie Nightbreed was a nightmare. The book, the story that is taken from Cabal, was dark and insidious and just delicious and wonderful and visceral and great, and then you had this very silly sort of movie. So he got the rights and was able to go in and actually re-edit Nightbreed to make it more match what he pictured those creatures to be like.
Sure.
And he wants to do the same thing with Hellraiser. So it's not so much Hollywood pushing this, but at the same time, I agreed with changing Nightbreed. Like, that made sense to me.
Right.
But with Hellraiser, like, it feels right. Like, it feels organic and good in the way that the story evolves, too. So I'm a little nervous. I trust Clive. I 100% trust him, but I'm still like,
But the original two, fucking, the Hellraiser movies the first two were excellent movies in and of
So was the
themselves.
third one.
What's that?
So was the third one.
Yeah,
There's
there were
a
several.
lot
There's
more than
4 or
30.
Yeah.
5.
There's
Yeah.
There's 4 or 5.
I'm
No,
pretty
I-
sure they did a
it's not.
Hellraiser in space at one point.
That was
Yeah.
four.
What?
There are
That's
8
cool.
Hellraiser movies.
Yeah.
No,
Are
they're
you
not.
kidding me?
Now the first two were excellent. Like well, you know what? If you haven't watched them, just go fucking watch them. They're worth watching.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
There's-
with Revelations, it's 9. There's 9 of
Oh,
them.
yeah, 9, sorry.
yeah, I watched one.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It was like some people kidnapped some people, and then.
But the original Hellraiser, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just Clive directed, wrote it. He did have limitations. He understood the limitations of his audience and everything else. But that above it, we were talking about earlier my experience in the comic shop. But that movie and my comics were like, I mean, they're why I'm the person I am now.
Oh yeah.
And I and that's why I have a hard time when people are like, "Oh, Hellraiser is an iconic horror movie," and it's
Sure.
like, yes, there's gore and there's horrific elements to it, but it's about so much more. And Clive was writing those stories when he was dealing with being homosexual in the 70s and trying to come out and all of those things. So it's like, yes, it's horror, but there's all of these
Yeah.
underlying political motivations
Absolutely.
to it that are great.
That's what makes the
Absolutely
movie good,
agree
is
with you.
having more than just one thing, and
Yeah.
having more to it, more meat.
Absolutely agreed, because the characters of Pinhead in and of himself is just, well, I'm too drunk to say. But yeah, I mean, I agree. It's a character that goes so much more, it past the horror trappings, and
And they
it's
say
psychological
in the
horror in a
film-
lot of ways, right?
he says about himself, angel to some, devil to others, and there's so many things that the Cinemites draw on. And if you look at when
He's a
you see
profaner
them,
of pleasure too.
he is. And if you see them go from what they are as Cenobites in their angelic form
Mm-hmm.
to what they were as humans, I mean, there was a child, the woman wasn't necessarily female, and all of these things, it's about kind of evolving and the changes that you go into when you're either faced with death or faced with horrific situations
Right.
or faced with adversity. So I really like those movies. I know they get lumped in with, all of the other slasher films that
straight
were
horror.
coming out at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot more to them, and I'm gonna stop babbling because I'm
No,
talking
no.
too much.
There's a lot of
You said it well, I think.
like tackling horror is there's so much great stuff out there. Just talking about movies, there are so many movies to discuss. It's
Yeah.
I mean, there's also tons of like comics, and there's manga, and there's
Well, Gwen, I would
TV
recommend
shows.
if you haven't read anything by Poppy Z. Bright. I know you like more suspenseful type things, but Poppy is she's a Southern author. She's from I'm so sorry. Oh my God, he's from New
I know all
Orleans.
about Poppy Z. Bright. My mom actually. I don't want to dox myself, so I won't actually mention my connections. But yeah, I know Poppy Z. Bright.
Oh, okay. So Poppy is another horror writer that much like Clive, I have a hard time putting in the horror genre, but he tackles a lot of the same sort of things. And now he writes about food and doesn't write about horror at all anymore. But a lot of his short stories and things, I think, sort of fall in the same sort of genre and got me to start writing. I mean, I didn't start really writing until I read Swamp Fetus, I think. But yeah, it's that same sort of thing where it's like on the surface, like, yes, these visceral, horrific things are going on, but underneath there's a lot of like love and emotion and caring and things that go into them too.
I think that's my problem with slasher fics, is usually you don't give a shit about the characters at all, so, watching them die, you're more like going, yay, kill these boring characters!
But then how do you feel about the slasher, though? Because that's the thing that I've often found is that in movies like that, not necessarily the ones we see in the movie theaters nowadays, but a lot of B films and stuff like that, I come away from it more relating to the quote-unquote, monster of the movie than I do the characters that are being attacked that we're supposed to root for.
I'm sure there's movies that can do that, but a lot of them, the ones that I've seen, given I'm mostly watching them because one of my friends likes to watch them, even though I hate them, I just tend to find that the ones at least she's been showing me, I'm not as interested in anything in it. It's like, oh well. I mean, I'm sure there's ones out there that are great that are more about the serial killer than they're about the people.
Oh, wait, I got one. Oh, well, actually, it's not really about the serial killer, but I Saw the Devil. Have you guys seen that?
No.
So it's basically... it's like, basically, it's just about a serial killer, and he kills this guy's fiancée. So basically what the guy does is try and stalk the serial killer and try and make his life a living hell. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's neat. Then there's... I'm just going to say right now, if you're interested
it's
in horror...
Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Korean horror is... I wasn't going to even get into Korean horror.
I
Korean horror,
love
though, is amazing. I mean, like Memento Mori is one of my favorite horror movies.
Have you
I
seen
love Korean
Self?
horror. Yes. Oh my God.
There's a lot of good Asian horror flicks, as people call them, but they're Chinese are so
Japanese-
different from Chinese. Like a lot of people like to lump them all together, but Chinese horror flicks, Japanese horror flicks, and Korean horror flicks are completely different as are Thai.
Well, and Japanese horror is not. There are some Japanese horror movies that I like. Suicide Club was okay. It was a little like I felt like there was a cell on intestines, and that got a little too over the top for me. In what, and then there's things like Moonchild, which isn't necessarily horror. I feel like more like that was a mobster movie, but it got mobster, not monster, and got lumped in with horror for some reason. I guess because he was a vampire, but. But I prefer Korean horror. Like it's really, there's such a high level of art to it. I just love it.
You should read the Korean horror comic. I'm pretty sure it's Korean. The manhwa American Ghost Jack. It's pretty awesome.
What's it called?
And it's almost done being fan translated.
So what's it called?
Only one issue to go.
What's it called? Sorry.
American Ghost Jack. American Ghost Jack. It's a Korean comic, and it's horror, and it's actually really good. I hope that they make a movie out of it.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. One person mentioned, was it John, I think, or Jonathan that mentioned in the sidebar, things like Dead Snow. Like I like Norwegian horror films a lot. There's also Troll Hunter, which is very good.
I haven't heard of that
Hey,
one.
Remy, is Dead Snow the one with the Nazis?
Yes.
With the Nazi
the zombie Nazis.
Okay. I need to check that out. I've been meaning to. The
That falls into
preview I
anybody-
saw.
Actually, horror comedy, right?
We should
Yeah,
totally
kinda,
have
yeah.
a horror movie night sometime.
Actually, you want to know something?
I'm
That
down
one
for that.
thing that me and one of my friends does that I wish I did with more people. There's a lot of indie horror shorts on YouTube, and you know they're varying quality, but some of them are really good, and I wish more people saw them. And, like we make like playlists of it and just watch it on SyncTube, on InstaSync.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
There's a lot. There's a lot there, and you could watch them and get some people together and really do commentary.
Can you name some?
Oh God, there are so many of them. I forget. We like you can sit down for like 2 hours and go through maybe 12 different ones. It's hard. We're trying to keep a list of the names of the ones we liked, but we lost it. We've literally watched hundreds of them on YouTube. It's hard to remember all the names because there are so many horror shorts out there, and we were trying to keep a written list, but she lost it. I don't know how.
Hey guys, have you ever heard of SCP?
Oh, I love SCP. And my love for SCP is why I love Cabin in the Woods.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Cabin in the
Because
Woods
at the
is
end of
great.
it, it's like a containment breach. I want a whole movie about a containment breach.
Oh my
I want
God.
that ending scene of the movie to be the whole movie. I want more of it.
What's your favorite SCP?
Favorite is probably I forget the number, but the thing that can only attack you if your eyes are closed.
Oh no, you mean not the Shy Guy.
It's like big yellow monster in the corner.
Oh,
and
173.
Stare at it.
Oh, the main one, yeah.
Yeah, I like that
173.
one. That
Dude,
that one's a good one.
That game they made around 173 is creepy as hell.
Yeah. See, I want more horror like that.
Okay, have
People forget ambience.
you read the one about the strip club?
No, maybe you should read that one out loud to our audience.
All right, let me find it.
I could
Once
read
upon
about
a
strip
time, there
clubs.
was a hooker.
I have
She was an
worked in them.
offensively good looker, but she dropped her drawers, and I can't rhyme with that.
I
Why?
unfortunately disabled strip club. Can't even remove one piece of clothing.
I didn't dance. I was a cat caller. But
There
still.
once was a man from Nantucket who had a dick so long he could... Okay, anyway.
Oh, okay. Come on now.
Yeah, I know.
Well, he looks for that. Another iconic horror director that I really love is John Carpenter.
John Carpenter, yes.
The Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
Yeah, and did you guys see Cigarette Burns?
That I have not ever heard of.
Okay. Do you want me to read? Sorry, you finished, and I'll read about the strip club.
Okay, it came out. It was part of the Masters of Horror series that they did on TV.
yeah.
But it stars Norman Reedus, Udo Kier, Christopher Redmond. It's got all of these wonderful people in it.
Yeah.
And I think that you can watch it on one of those things on the internet for free.
Yeah.
So I will link folks to it, but it's beautiful and strange. And my husband Norman Reedus is in it. So
Norman
it's
Reedus looks exactly like me.
This is good to know. But it's absolutely great. And I used to host a horror movie night called Bloody Tits Night at my friend's
that is
house.
awesome.
And that was one of our most popular nights is when we would show Cigarette Burns. We would always have a ton of people show up. So
Hey,
anyway,
Remy?
go ahead and yes.
Hey, Remy, are you aware that Norman Reedus is going to be in the next Silent Hill?
Yes, I am. I don't think you understand. Like him and Jude Law and I have had like a long-standing relationship, the three of us.
Yeah.
And Jude and I have
Really?
our problems.
Norman Reedus.
Norman
Reedus.
I own literally everything that he is in. Magazines. I have magazines in German because he did.
Norman fucking Reedus.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? That is
No.
kind of awesome, actually, Remy.
He's lovely and he's extremely talented and
He's a nice guy too.
And people I got into him because he was doing the tours for the Boondock Saints. They would do the college tours every summer.
Wait.
And they don't do it anymore. This is
Okay.
back when y'all were too young to drink.
Yeah. Okay, I'm 35.
They would do. Oh, hey, we're the same age. But they would do the Boondocks college tours, and they would go to different college campuses. And he and Troy and everybody would come out and drink and show the movie and hang out and stuff. And I met him when he was doing the college tours, and just thought that he was just super nice and super lovely and like insta crush. I was just like, oh my god. But I've paid ridiculously exorbitant amount of money to
Monies,
to buy
yes.
things that he's in.
Monies, plural.
Even if it's just like print ads and stuff like that.
Really?
And he was in a movie called The Devil Wears Black, which is it's Hamlet but a modern retelling. He's in it for 57 seconds. Yeah, I paid over $40 for that movie. So
I gotta say though, he is, excuse me, as Daryl Dixon, a guy who shares my name. He's he's a surprisingly compelling character, and everything I've seen of him, he's been like a really cool guy. And there was a video I saw with him and the guy who plays Rick, and he played a fucking thing on him. God damn it! Sorry, I'm knocking shit over as I'm talking. He played a prank on him and.
With the guy, was it the interview with the guy under the table?
No, it was one where he told him to speak some Japanese phrase, which was like basically like "I want to use the bathroom" or something like that. And but no, I agree. Norman Reedus seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, he's really super lovely. But John was going to read to us about hey, listen, Jason. I can fangirl, dude. It's allowed.
Talk about the
Yeah,
strip
John's
club
gonna read
already.
to us about strippers,
Hey.
and that is one of my interests.
Hey, listen, I'm a straight guy, and I think Norman Reedus is really, really fucking groovy. If he asked me to suck it, I. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on quickly, please.
Remy, I think you guys are spilling more spaghetti than you tonight.
It's
Say the
only
thing.
because you haven't talked a lot, Fuhrer. That's all.
We need to mute
I'm
everyone.
not a huge horror fan, so I don't have much to contribute.
Oh,
So,
I didn't have much to contribute last time. It's fine.
So here's the thing. Do you want me to talk about the containment procedures as well as just the description? Like, how they start us off is like saying how it's contained, then they'll can tell what it does.
I'd say stick to what it does, and
I mean, if you want someone else to read it, they can. We just want someone to read it.
I kind of want to write a communal story with the mindless zombie folks.
Alright, I'll read it now. Gonna read it. So,
yeah.
Okay.
SCP-1472 is a highly brightly painted single-story brick building located in East St. Louis, Illinois,
Yeah.
USA,
Yes.
the corner of H Street and St. Louis Avenue. The exterior condition of the building is poor but remains stable. City records indicate that the building was 1978 by the new defunct Beep Corporation. SCP-1472 has been condemned since 2001 when SCP-1472's anomalous activity began. SCP-1472 has only one accessible entrance on the west side of the building. When entered during its inactive state, SCP-1472 appears extremely empty. SCP-1472 only becomes active every Saturday at 2 a.m. During its active state, an overweight human male, called SCP-1472-1, will exit 1472 and display signage out in front of the entrance. One display is set directly on the alphabet in front of the entrance, which lists a schedule of events. Another large display displays directly on the side of the building, and lit with decorative neon lighting saying "exotic girls" or equivalent. During this active period, the SCP-1472-1 will insist that all persons seeking admittance pay cover a change of $, are not engaged in photography or video recording once inside. This will differ nightly, however. The performances always range from 2 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. During the duration of the performances, the entrance/exit will remain locked until the last show ends. Injuries and fatalities have occurred depending on the content of the show. Participants have been observed to sustain psychological trauma. And there's also a test log which had like people go in and see what's going on, which is cool. If you want me to read that as well.
Link it. Let me take a look at it.
I can read some stuff too.
Yeah, I'd be happy to read. It'd be the most I'm contributing at the moment, considering as for the I don't really watch horror films in the slightest. So.
I know,
Can Fewer read us something scary, please?
Yeah, let's hear Nick talk for a while, huh?
All right.
My spaghetti over he and Remy, so.
I feel like I missed something.
I'm really good at campfire stories.
Okay.
I want to hear.
So
there once was a man named Ted.
So this one, I guess it's SCP-1472. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did the test. Read the test logs.
Okay, so you read everything else so far, right?
Well, I read the description. It also says like how it's been contained, and it was also like a test log which had people go in and see what's going on.
Okay, where is the test log? I can't.
It's at the
Oh,
bottom.
there it is. I see it. Okay. Okay. So test log 1472-011213-4. Preamble. 3 D-Class test subjects were approved for testing on 01/12/13. D-Class test subjects were transported to the site and told to wait in front of the entrance of SCP-1472. D-Class test subjects were told that they must take notes and report everything that they see inside. Below was a schedule of events as posted outside of SCP-1472 before testing. Schedule of shows. 2 to 210, admittance. 210 to 215, the Kumbish sisters. 215 to 220, Helen Keller. Okay.
What?
220 to 230, the Fantastic Zippy and Trainer. 230 to 235, square bracket, teeth and claw marks, close square bracket. 235 to 240, intermission. 240 to 241, erotic_performance.exe. 241 to 245, the Council of Libidinous Elders. 245 to 320, serial number 223244-09-P. 320 to 330, square bracket, indecipherable cuneiform script, or close square bracket. So D-Class ID D-3432/D-6744-/D-9908. So 1:50 a.m. D-Class test subjects were dropped off by transport and were told to approach SCP-1472's entrance. Each were given $100 in $5 bills. D-Class test subjects were also encouraged to spend their money once inside. 1:55 a.m. SCP-1472-1 emerged from the entrance with signage. SCP-1472-1 began to set up around the entrance. D-Class test subjects and SCP-1472-1 did not interact with each other. 2 a.m. SCP-1472-1 allowed admittance into SCP-1472. SCP-1472-1 asked from each D-Class test subject a blank amount of dollars as cover charge. D-Class test subjects obliged and paid said cover charge in exchange for admission into SCP-1472. 2:03 a.m. All D-Class test subjects were now inside SCP-1472. D-Class test subjects reported that the interior conditions were excellent. The interior was outfitted with shag carpeting, mirrored walls, a single disco ball which hung from the ceiling, a thick fabric curtain that covered most of the stage, and a single brass pole which extended from the ceiling down into the middle of the room. Comfortable seating arrangements were made available for a maximum occupancy of 30. 10 after 2 to 15 after 2. Bracket the Kunbish sisters. The curtain opened to reveal two naked women sitting on a wooden log. The women appeared to be twins of Asian descent. Both women then performed traditional Tuvan throat singing while massaging each other for the duration of the show. D-3432 and D-9908 deposited $10 on stage, which prompted the women to pause and begin a faster song. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:15 to 2:20, brackets Helen Keller. The curtain opened to reveal a woman with the same physical appearance as Helen Keller in her mid-20s. The woman was dressed in typical Las Vegas showgirl attire and began to perform a dance routine on stage while undressing at the same time. D-3432, D-6744, and D-9908 each deposited $10 on stage. This prompted the woman to immediately interrupt her routine to recite poetry for a few seconds. D-6744 deposited another $5 on stage with the same results. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:20 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. The Fantastic Zippy and Trainer. The curtain opened to reveal an orangutan sitting on a metal stool next to a headless nude woman with advanced necrotizing fasciitis. Whatever that is.
This story is hitting way too close to home.
Despite being headless...
Pronounced necrotizing fasciitis.
Fasciitis, okay. Despite being headless, the woman was able to function normally. The orangutan then began to give vocal commands directed at the woman, to which she responded by performing a pole dancing routine. D-3432 deposited $5 on the floor next to the woman. The woman responded by pushing the $5 bill directly into her exposed trachea. The orangutan then ordered the woman back to the stage. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:30 a.m. to 2:35 a.m. Square bracket, teeth and claw marks, close square bracket. The curtain opened to reveal 4 predatory bipedal reptiles. Based on the D-Class test subjects' descriptions, the reptiles may have belonged to the genus Velociraptor. Unlikely, because velociraptors are 3 feet tall. Each were dressed in Japanese-made cosplay costume tailored to fit them. The reptiles began to approach D-9908 off stage in an extremely aggressive manner. D-9908 relinquished all of his money, which seems to appease the rest of the reptiles as they collected the money and shifted attention towards D-3432. D-3432 also relinquished all of his money with the same results. Afterwards, all 4 reptiles were ordered back on stage by SCP-1472-1 and the curtain closed. D-6744 divided the remainder of his money with the other D-Class test subjects. Probably a good decision. 2:35 to 2:40, intermission. No events were reported during this time. 2:40 to 2:41 a.m. Erotic_performance.exe. The curtain opened to reveal a Gateway 2000 computer and monitor running a Fenestra 98 operating system. The display booted up and opened a program on its desktop. The computer then began to rapidly recite a multitude of different equations, as well as their respective 3D graphical representations for 20 seconds. At the end of the program, the monitor displayed the word insert in the form of a screensaver. D-674 and D-3432 both inserted $5 into its floppy drive. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:41 to 2:45 a.m. Bracket the Council of Libidinous Elders. The curtain opened to reveal 16 entities levitating above the stage. Each entity appeared as a translucent, gelatinous mass filled with membranous tissues. The entities then began to project transmissions via telepathy into the minds of the D-Class test subjects. D-Class test subjects reported migraines, acute tinnitus, and projected thoughts of intense physical sensation. No money was deposited on the stage. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:45 a.m. to 3:20 a.m. Serial number 223244-09-P. The curtain opened to reveal a pair of mechanical humanoid legs running in place. The apparatus was being powered by an internal combustion generator situated on the left side of the stage. SCP-1472-1 was seen pouring a substance into the generator by funnel. Based on the D-Class test subjects' descriptions of appearance and odor, this substance is believed to possibly be raw ambergris. After 15 minutes, D-9908 deposited $5 on the stage. The apparatus then began to perform a traditional Irish step dancing routine. SCP-1472-1 then brought out a plastic tray filled with an unknown species of beetle and placed the apparatus atop them. The apparatus continued to dance for the duration of the show, while SCP-1472-1 periodically replaced the trays with refilled ones.
Hey,
The aroma
guys, how long is this one?
It's almost over. I just
Almost
want.
done.
Okay.
It gets really good after the next one.
Yep. Okay, so where was I? Okay, apparatus. Okay, duration, periodically replace the trays with refilled ones. The aroma produced by the performance was reported to be overly pungent to the point of nausea. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 3:20 to 3:30 a.m. Decipherable cuneiform script. And close bracket. The curtain opened to reveal SCP-1093 wearing a small mawashi and holding an ornate stone blade. After a minute, SCP-1093 lunged at D-3432. After a brief altercation, SCP-1093 was able to render D-3432 unconscious and moved his body towards the stage. Based on reports by the D-Class test subjects, SCP-1093 then began to perform a ritual human sacrifice. D-6744 attempted to rescue D-3432, but was halted by SCP-1472-1 and was warned that he was not allowed to touch the, quote, dancers, end quote. SCP-1093 then proceeded to remove all major organs from D-3432 in order of size before kicking them off stage. This lasted for the remainder of the show. Note: Foundation records confirm that SCP-1093 was secured in its containment unit during this time period, which suggests that this was a physically identical yet extremely violent instance of SCP-1093. It is also believed that during the performance, SCP-1093 was only producing roughly 4% of its normal radioactive emissions, since D-6744 and D-9908 survived with moderate radiation poisoning after the show ended. 3:32 a.m. SCP-1472-1 was observed standing outside smoking a large cigar as the surviving D-Class test subjects staggered out of SCP-1472. D-674 and D-9908 were apprehended and taken to the infirmary. SCP-1472-1 was then observed removing the signs and retreating back into SCP-1472. D-3432's remains were never recovered. Done.
Damn, that was long.
Yeah.
But that was interesting. Like, I feel like there would have been more of an effect if an individual was reading them on their own out loud. Out loud. It sounds a little
Yeah, there's also ones
too
like
clinical. It sounds too clinical.
Yeah, because you're reading a case study, so case studies are not.
Yeah.
well, there's also ones like
That's
That-
why I prefer
That story was
creepypasta.
about as long as my dick.
That's why I tend to prefer creepypasta to SCPs these days.
Are you gonna
It just doesn't do it.
Are
Well,
you
also-
gonna read White and Red
Wow.
or White with Red?
Yeah, sure, I could.
Well, I think Gwen said she wanted to read it though.
I'll read
Oh,
it.
oh, if you want to read it, yeah, go ahead.
Oh god, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
throw up.
Remy can read it if she wants instead. I mean, I can read it if you want.
No,
No, I was
Gwen,
actually
Gwen.
looking for one. You should read that.
Yeah,
Alright, I'll
please.
read this
Yeah,
one.
Gwen, read that.
We'll find and read spooky stories. It's late.
Okay.
Yes, I'm looking for one that's more my style, so I will
Turn-
find something.
Turn the lights off and for full effect.
Let's see if I can. Let's see if I still got it.
Lord.
At 11.
Yes, Remy, turn the lights off.
Yeah, right. I'm standing outside your window, by the way.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear you.
So, Remy,
A man.
turn off your
Man.
lights.
I submit for the Midnight Society.
Oh.
White with Red. A man
Is
went
this
to a hotel and walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key and told him that, on the way to his room, there was a door with no number that was locked and no one was allowed in there. She explained that it was a storeroom
Oh.
and that it was out of bounds. She reminded him of this several times before allowing him upstairs. So he followed the instructions of the woman at the front desk, going straight to his room and going to bed. However, the insistence of the woman had piqued his curiosity. So the next night he walked down the hall to the door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. Cold air passed through it, chilling his eye. What he saw was a hotel bedroom, like his, and in the corner was a woman whose skin was incredibly pale. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the door. He stared in confusion for a while. Was this a celebrity? The owner's daughter? He almost knocked on the door out of curiosity, but decided not to. As he was still looking, the woman turned sharply, and he jumped back from the door, hoping that she would not suspect he had been spying on her. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day, he returned to the door, and he looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness. He couldn't make anything out besides a distinct red color, unmoving. Perhaps the inhabitants of the room knew he was spying the night before, and had blocked the keyhole with something red. He felt embarrassed that he had made the woman so uncomfortable, and he hoped she had not made a complaint with the woman at the front desk. At this point, he decided to consult her for more information. She sighed and said, "Did you look through the keyhole?" The man told her that he had, and she said, "Well, I might as well tell you the story of what happened in that room. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in there, and we find that even now, whoever stays there gets very uncomfortable. But these were not people were not ordinary. They were wiped all over except for their eyes, which were red." I probably could do better with a better story, but there you go.
Hey, well,
That's pretty good.
I could do better with a better story.
I was gonna say, there's another SCP which sounds like these documents, but they're like it tells what the people are saying, and like, for example, have you heard of the one on the stairs?
I'm pretty good at reading spooky stuff, but you know.
There was a
That's
man.
fine.
His name was Joe Johnson. And he was walking. And then he fell on some spaghetti that I spilled. And I can't fucking say the word spaghetti, so don't listen to me.
I could
Okay.
probably make up a creepypasta right now off the top of my head, but it would take a little bit.
I'm actually
That's the
kind of
thing.
down.
Reading through this site, I kind of sort of want to publish things on here, but I kind of sort of am very possessive of my writing at the same time. So
See, I'm actually kind of cool with folks making up stories. Actually,
I'm actually planning on doing a stream where I'm a week bedtime story stream where
Yeah.
I tell stories.
yeah. See, I'm kind of cool with that. Like, folks, imagine us sitting around a fire, so to speak, and then fucking rambling on about our.
Well, I mean, is this going to be story time?
Not really.
Well, no, probably not. But
Oh no, for what we're doing right now.
yeah, no.
No, it
No.
technically
Like
is. We
read
got an hour into the segment, so yeah, it's pretty much story time. Everyone go get a snack and.
Story
Yeah.
time.
Everyone
Let's get some
I'm
let's get some
actually planning on
marshmallows.
doing an official weekly Friday night
Oh.
stream where I just tell a story to people.
I'm good with that, Gwen. Send me the link on Twitter if you do it.
Oh, I will. It'll go out on my Twitter.
Okay, cool.
I also send announcements on my Steam group whenever I do a stream of any sort.
Yeah. Well, I'm really interested in hearing your stories, so hook it up.
I am the worst at this site because I'm sitting here, I'm just sitting random and reading things, and I'm like trying to check them for grammar. and
Okay, I
stuff.
got a story for you guys. Okay, ready? There once was a man from Nantucket. All right. No,
Oh,
I'm not going to go
That
any
was a
farther.
terrible story. You're not allowed to speak anymore.
Hey, you know what, Nick? You can.
It wasn't me. That was-
Hey, Wayne.
Almost
can suck off a dick's
everything
too.
on the wiki is something that was once made popular
You know,
on
I'm
a
drunk.
forum somewhere that someone
With my
submitted.
heart.
And they're varying qualities. There's actually a lot of sites like the Creepypasta Wiki where you can go to just find spooky stories of various types. If I hadn't lost my previous hard drive, I'd have a lot better in terms of horror story links.
So
There's
it
a
looks like-
few sort of religious-y ones that I find intriguing, but they are too long to read aloud, and I don't know if they're good or not. So,
Well, link me. I'll read something.
well, I
Seriously.
just mean because we should limit. Like Gwen's was the perfect link, so that we don't.
Sure.
So
Well, we've got an hour
That
left. So
we don't overdo it. Well, did we talk about all of the movies? I did want to talk about Lovecraftian films, if we could at all.
Now,
Like,
I'm unfamiliar with this.
Just go ahead.
Sure. What
Also,
what
this is
Lovecraftian films do you suggest?
This is a better website than that other one.
oh, Gwen's giving me better links. Woohoo!
But you should go and talk about Lovecraft.
Yeah, I'm interested. Ever since I had heard of the Cthulhu guy.
Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that so okay. Everybody I'm assuming knows who Lovecraft and
Sure.
is and the basic world, but in the 70s, I'm very into 70s like grindhouse films and just 70s films in general. The sort of Lovecraftian film style became very popular, where there was warlocks trying to bring creatures through from quote unquote the other side and things like that. Even The Evil Dead is considered a Lovecraftian style film. But
Was that the basis for the Warlocks of World of Warcraft, or what? I
Listen
seriously
here.
wonder. I
You
seriously
make
wonder
me miss WoW. You have to stop.
Actually,
I
Nick,
love my Warlock, so.
Nick,
My mom used to play WoW
Yes,
all the time.
Jason,
that
yes.
was her favorite game. So this is making
the
me
Warlocks from
I'm
World of
sad
Warcraft are kind of based in that same idea.
Okay.
You're
But they're not
making me
inherently
sad.
The
Lovecraftian
fact that
themselves.
they have, the familiars and shit.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And just that their whole thing is summoning demons. That's the interesting part. But okay, sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
No, you were fine. Well, do you like? You obviously said that you like Lovecraft, though. I mean, do you like his writing? Do you like things that are inspired by him, or what is?
I like the general stories he creates. His writing style is pretty cool. One of my favorites is probably the one about the sailor.
Oh yeah.
From the military boat or something, and then it crashes, and it's on this rock somewhere. I don't know what it is, but they come across these things. I don't remember how it ends, or how it all goes, but I remember at the end that he hears something at his door, and he goes to, and it's implied that it's one of the creatures that he'd seen years ago,
Catherine.
he disappears. It's really cool.
And is he one of those people? For me personally, I love Lovecraft and I love his writing style, and I try and borrow from it a good bit when I write. But he's one of those people that people either seem to be able to separate who he was as a person from his writing and really enjoy him, or other people try really hard to politicize him, which baffles me because I'm like, it's Lovecraft. What are you doing?
Mhm.
There was a big controversy about the Fantasy Award. I can't remember what it's called, but the statue is his buggy little face when you win it, and they actually like had this huge kerfuffle because one of the authors was like, "Oh, he's a racist. I can't have that in my house." And I think they ended up leaving him as the statue just because he is so iconic. But that really baffled me because you don't get those elements in his writing. It's not like he's pushing a racist agenda or anything else. He uses the language of the time, obviously, but so did Mark Twain. And there's a lot of authors who are obviously not racist who also use the writing of their era, and we don't do the same sort of silliness too.
Right, which isn't me because I'm profoundly racist.
Dang, is that why you like call me?
You're white,
Brown?
that makes
I can't
you
say that.
automatically racist.
I told you not to drive while brown.
He was giving you friendly advice.
Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, come on. There were people outside your window that night, so.
Oh yeah, true.
They were climbing in your windows.
Yeah.
They were drinking.
Snatching
They
my
were
people
snatching your peoples up.
Climbing in your window, scaring your people up.
Yeah.
Trying to rape you, so you better
They're coming
hide
after
your kids,
your
hide your kids, hide your wife,
Yeah.
hide your kids, hide your wife.
You know,
Hide
for
your-
a fake,
so they're raping
for a
everybody.
fake black guy Optimus, you really have that shtick down.
Wait,
Well,
isn't that basically...
Okay, focus.
Is
Okay.
that song about white men? It's hard to tell these days.
Yeah,
It
right.
truly is. They're the scariest things ever.
What,
Yeah,
white
I'm
guys?
just enjoying these lists of what people consider. Well, obviously, Reanimator.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
a great one.
Reanimator
Too.
is
Yes,
great,
I
yeah.
love Reanimator.
Yeah, Jacob's Ladder is one of my
Excellent.
very, very favorite movies. In the Mouth
And
of
that movie
Madness.
is mindfuck.
Yeah.
Jacob's Ladder.
Jacob's Ladder is, oh my gosh,
Love
it
it.
totally is. Even if you don't like horror so much, that movie scares
Oh,
the
yeah.
crap out of you. It's super
Oh,
good.
yeah.
In the Mouth of Madness is another one that I know
Yep,
is
John Carpenter. Right?
yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, and even if you don't like horror, like it's one of those
Mm-hmm.
movies that I'm like, hi, we're friends. You're going to sit down and watch this with me. Like I'm a writer. We're going to watch this together. It's going to be
Yeah.
fun times. But yeah, so many different things are. I mean, obviously Necronomicon, Event Horizon. A lot of movies have really strong Lovecraftian elements to them that people don't necessarily attribute to him.
One of the first times I really was introduced with the individual who is Lovecraft. Everyone knew of Cthulhu beforehand, but
Yeah.
the first time I actually looked into his work was I forget how it was, but it was something. For some reason, I was looking up the Necronomicon, like the book that he has featured in his things.
Right.
I don't know why, but apparently what I did discover is that there are apparently people who believe that there is such an actual book, and it's like, what? Are you
There
kidding?
are.
What, the
Yeah, no,
Necronomicon?
there
That's-
absolutely are.
You people are insane. It's
Nick, are you
came
talking
from
about
his
the
mom.
Necronomicon?
Yes,
Okay, I'm sorry. I just.
the Book of the Dead. Yes,
Yeah, right. There are people who believe this.
that it's a real thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
I know. It's like what? Fuck. It's really very crazy. But yeah, that's that. I remember that's how I first started looking it up, and then I discovered that it was a Lovecraft thing, and that he'd done Cthulhu as well. And I was like, oh man, wow. And so I started reading pretty much everything I could find by him, all the short stories and stuff. And yeah, I love his stuff. It's
This
really
is a
great.
smart guy telling you how much smarter he is than you are.
There's
Yeah.
also a subgenre of horror that most people don't know about.
Yeah.
It's called the horrible movies. Movies so bad that you're frightened that they even exist.
So pretty much everything.
I got it. I got one. I got one. The Christmas special.
The Star Wars.
Yes. We don't associate it with the name Star Wars.
Right.
It's no longer canon.
Yeah, it's failure on celluloid.
It's every degree of failure.
Yeah, pretty much. I
You
mean,
don't like Chewie's family?
yeah.
Nope.
Chewie's family.
There's also force someone to play the ET game while watching the Star Wars Christmas special and just record their reactions. That'd be a horror film right there.
I'd like to see this. I'm actually going to record this. I'm going to make it a point to give you guys this after Christmas.
But yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, no, but I personally don't do horror films at all, in the slightest. I don't care for horror
same
films.
here.
It's not my genre. I don't like the sensation of being terrified. That's not a fun sensation for me. I'm not excited by it. I'm not thrilled by it. It's
Now,
a
see,
sickening feeling for me.
Nick,
I don't want to do it.
I'm that way
my
with
girl
video
feels
games.
the exact same way as you do, but there are some films that are more about the mystery than about the fear.
I get that, and that's fine. Mystery is fun, and you know what? Horror, like comics and like novels, that's totally different story. I can totally do that. Those are cool. Something about seeing it. It's something about it being in writing that I think makes it a more intriguing story for me,
What's
especially
your
things like
favorite horror
mystery.
comic?
Sure.
What's your favorite horror comic?
I don't know. I don't
He
read a
doesn't
lot.
really read comics.
I don't read many
What about
comics.
books?
He's like
What about book? What's
Tales
your
from the
favorite book?
Crypt.
Don't even remember books either.
Tales
Fuck.
from the
I had a
Crypt
couple.
is good, Nick.
I don't know. I don't know if you want to consider it even horror. It is a monster book, though.
Sure.
So I don't care. Go ahead.
The original 1896 Bram Stoker. It's Dracula.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, I love
That is
that.
just like the first part of that book with the Jonathan Harker journal.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's like goddamn.
Yeah,
It's
wasn't
like
most of it-
you know what it is, but he doesn't. And it's like, no, don't do those things. Stop it.
Right.
It's like fuck.
And Nick, most of
Why do I
it,
always
I
have
mean,
to-
I will admit I haven't read it, and that is a crime I need to rectify sometime. But wasn't most of it written from Harker's standpoint or viewpoint rather?
It's written in diary point in diary form.
Gotcha.
And so the first part is written in diary and letter form, I should say. The first part is written by Harker or Jonathan Harker, and then it jumps around a bit to other characters in the book because Harker's part is when he's at the castle. Basically, he's there to sell property to a certain Count Dracula, and property in London, in fact. And then in the process, he kind of discovers who he is, and then he's kind of going to be trapped there, and Dracula basically tells him, write some letters ahead and date them for this upcoming date and this other upcoming date, and they're going to say you're fine. And he's like, I know how long I have to live now. Holy shit. Yeah, but no, he eventually, I'm spoiling a little bit, but he eventually manages to get out and lands back and returns to England somehow. But it's like, Jesus. And then there's a segment about how Dracula gets to London, and it's like, holy crap. It's like, has everyone seen Lost World Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the ending scene, or one of the last parts of the movie, where they're waiting for a ship coming into the harbor, and it plows through the harbor, and then they get on board, and the adult Tyrannosaurus Rex bashes it with its way out and starts running loose.
Yeah.
The arrival of that ship is very, very similar to the arrival of the ship in London in Dracula. There's no one left on this boat, and there's someone literally who chained himself to the wheel.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite
freaky,
books.
but it's such a good book, and that I love.
If you like Stoker's writing and if you like Lovecraft, have you read anything by Harlan Ellison?
I have
Oh,
not. No.
Yeah.
His Deathbird stories, if you like shorts, I like short stories, especially when it deals with things that are more visceral and gut
Short
wrenching.
stories, I think, work the best for a lot of horror, unless it's like a mystery.
Right.
Mystery horror. That can be longer, but for the most part, I think most horror is best encapsulated in short form.
Yep.
Ellison's
I
writing
agree.
is very much like Clive Barker's, where there's things that, like I was explaining to my daughter, the reason I like George R. R. Martin is you can feel the warmth of the blood on your hands when people die.
Yes.
And Ellison he has that
Evoke
same
that
sort of
feeling.
feeling to you, and it's things that when these characters are going through these things, you can really feel them. And he gets pulled into a lot of different horror genres. I first read him in a splatterpunk book that I got as a teenager, but he has also worked with Terry Pratchett, and he's everybody.
I like Terry.
Everybody really likes Harlan. He's a very strange man, and he's a bit of a shut-in and a recluse. But he really touched a lot of writers, and people that I respect him. So even if you're not into horror, kind of dabble into them.
I'm big into the mystery thing. I'm very big into mystery and that kind of stuff. As in, like, I find it very intellectually fascinating and stimulating.
Right.
For example, there's an upcoming BioWare game. It's, I think, Shadow Realms. The marketing for that game was fucking unbelievable. So what happened is, I think it's because I own BioWare games, like Tor, for example. I started to get emails from BioWare, and it was in these emails just like, I forget what they had. Let me see if I can open one up. But it had links to these videos, and it was supposed to be like different things, strange little events involving people. One was this girl saying it's not my fault, and there's like this house disappearing into some hole in the ground or something. But just intriguing sort of stuff to pique your interest. And no description, no title, no upcoming game or anything, just this thing from BioWare. And then they started doing this other thing where it's like, I think it was called the Where's Hannah campaign or something like that. Basically, it was supposed to be this guy started a blog trying to find his missing friend Hannah, who had, or is it Henna? I think it might, no, Hannah. One of those two. Anyway, and it was supposed to be, they tracked a bunch of her stuff, and there was a link to this random school, and the website exists for the school, but it has, its class curriculum is like paranormal stuff and weird shit, and it's like generic pictures and shit, and all these, it's just this breadcrumb trail all across the internet, and it was just so cool. Like, I saw people making forum topics about it and just talking about it. 'Cause it's like,
I remember that.
That is so cool. Yeah, it was like a couple months. It was like earlier this year. It was like, what? This is so fun. Holy fuck. Oh, it was just such a mystery, and it was so interesting that I was a little disappointed when it was this Shadow Realms game. But it's like, it's just really cool. Fuck.
There was something else similar to that.
Like, that's fun as fuck.
Diarrhea House or something. That was many years ago. I can never pronounce the name, but it released like bits at a time until you got the full story, and it was really cool.
Nice.
A movie was going to get made out of it, but something stupid happened, so oh well.
I found this really beautiful description of my favorite Ellison book. It's probably a fan site, so it's probably biased, but for Deathbird Stories, it says, for more than 3 decades, this singular collection of stories in which the new gods of freeways and slot machines, internal combustion deities, and evil so enormous that it will swallow the streets in shadows. For more than 30 years, the power of this book has compelled the attention of not only readers of imaginative bents, but the praise of hardline literary critics. One cannot codify modern literature or the fantastic without including a reference or selection from this dark book of godly and troubling stories that will not be ignored. So yeah, it's good. You should read it. Everybody should read it.
And like, yeah, and it's strange because while I don't like watching horror films, I have a thing where I will wiki tons and tons of horror films and just read their plots because I like the plots. The plots are cool. Well, not on all of them, of course. A lot of them are shitty. I don't really give a shit for the slasher flick plots at all. But Alien, for example, I cannot watch that movie. That's just it's too good. It's too well done for me. It's like no. But that plot, it's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's pretty real. It's
oh man, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like maybe that's one of the reasons why I've started looking at, like, when I play Halo, and why I find the Flood so much more terrifying now. Is it's like that. It's the same thing almost.
Right.
it
And
takes
with
over
Alien
your body
in
and then
particular-
impregnates you and then explodes outward with more. Like, holy
Now see, that's a pretty damn good description, you know. And for me, Alien in particular was about like the isolation, you know, towards the end, and the feeling, you know, that you're not safe anywhere you go.
Exactly. No, I know.
I
and
loved
it's
it.
like all it takes is one. All it takes is one, and the infestation spreads, and you can't stop it. It's that too. It's like that. It's everywhere. It gets everywhere.
Have
They're
either of you
just
read
all
any
over the
Stephen
place.
King?
What's that?
I don't.
Either of you read any Stephen King?
Stephen King.
Yeah, big fan. Huge fan.
I've not really, actually. No.
Huge fan. I love his Dark Tower stuff in particular.
Oh,
And
yeah.
how he wove.
I have to step away for a few minutes, so I'll be back in a bit.
All right, Nick.
The thing with King is that he's one of those writers. I enjoyed him when I was younger. He like Carrie is classic and iconic. It scared the crap out of me. I'm trying to remember the one. Oh, it wasn't
He's
called
really
The
good at
Mist.
getting people into the genre.
Yeah,
He
The
is,
Mist.
but then I feel like he's a gateway drug, I guess is the best way
Sure.
to kind
And
of see him.
Even he would say that about himself, though.
He's a very weird dude, too. I think that's the thing is that I grew up and I became aware of authors as people and not just things to consume. And he's a funny man.
Yeah. Like
So-
he's apparently a hardcore Christian, and
And he wanders out in traffic and gets hit by cars.
Yeah, right.
So he's
he wrote that into the Dark Tower, actually.
Yeah, oh, those were such great books too.
Yeah.
I mean, those were just really, really well done. And then the things that he writes as Bachman, I enjoy more because they're more gory and more along the splatter
Kind
lines.
of a little more daring for him. you'd
Well,
say?
and they're very detailed in their carnage. You can read Stephen King. I feel comfortable
Dark
with my
Half.
daughter. Yes. Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
one too. But he's a
that-
gateway drug into
Sure.
horror. Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, I won't disagree with that. But you know what he writes is real fun to read. Yeah, and he'll be the first person to explain it as, or describe it rather as like, popcorn or McDonald's. You know, something you eat to consume, and then you move on to better stuff.
I actually got into horror and supernatural stuff through a children's book called
Yeah.
Christina's Ghost. That was
Oh.
the first horror thing I ever read. It's the short little thing. I found it in the elementary school library, and
Yeah.
it's about a girl and a supernatural mystery, and it's and her father, and a really cool supernatural mystery. I then went on to read stuff. Watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Goosebumps as a kid.
yes.
Now, see, I was with you in that sense. Like, I grew up reading like Christopher Pike, who's like a really D-level kind of teen horror and thriller.
I
writer.
liked Christopher Pike,
Yeah,
though, but I think
yeah.
it was appropriate for age. I don't think
It
it's
was,
necessarily a
absolutely.
D-level writer, but I think he was
Really?
definitely a youth writer. No,
think
he's
so?
great. Structurally, they're really sound stories,
I see.
and yeah, like I mean, I was reading them in elementary and middle school, but I also
Sure.
didn't have friends, so my reading level was
Right,
really
right.
high.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
So that was the thing is I was maybe reading those before I should. I was
Did you
trying to
ever-
think. Mhm.
Did you ever read Remember Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, see, that was one of the ones that I loved. I fucking loved that, and I didn't end up reading the end. I don't know how it all turned out. So.
I was trying to think of what my introduction to horror was,
Sure.
and I guess that's the thing is that, and like I was saying at the beginning, and I feel
Mhm.
bad because like Jonathan and stuff haven't talked forever, but
Oh.
with horror,
I'm just
I
sitting here.
didn't. Hi, you're awake.
Hey,
Yeah. He's
what are you
okay.
doing?
He's okay.
Um,
I'm multitasking.
Oh, okay. I won't call you out on it then. But yeah, for horror, for me, because I didn't define things as horror,
Sure.
I just defined them as things that I enjoyed and that I
Yeah.
found interesting.
Yeah.
I-
Absolutely.
I don't know what my introduction to it was. Part of me wants to say that it was tabletop games almost. I mean, I was playing, or not even tabletop, but LARPing, because I was playing like Vampire the Masquerade and things like that when I was 12 and 13 years old. So to me, that was like my introduction to sort of darker, more sadistic things.
Right.
More so than even like literature, because I mean I read Dracula, but it didn't. It was interesting and it really grabbed me. It didn't scare me so much.
Right.
And so it's a hard thing to say. But I read the Goosebumps books. Like I don't like the new ones. My daughter was reading Goosebumps for like a little while, and I was like, dude, these are not even good anymore. Read the ones that Mom read. But those were even
yes.
really
Did you guys
well-written books.
Remy, I want to ask you, did you ever read Richard? Was it the Richard Scary stuff? And the scary stories to tell in the dark?
Yes, absolutely. I even hold on.
Sure.
Oh, it's right here. I even have in my book right now, or in my
I can't see it.
briefcase,
Yeah.
I have a similar sort of structured thing. Is Spooky Wisconsin: Tales of Haunting, Strange Happenings, and Other Local Lore. Like I love books like that, like short story collections that are like fun little snippets. The Girl with the Ribbon at Her Throat was in, I think, the first collection of those stories to tell by the campfire, to tell in the dark,
Right.
which is one of my favorite stories, and I wore a ribbon around my neck for a really long time because of it. So, yeah,
Right.
I love stuff like that.
I remember the one with the girl with the spiders in her face.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a good one too.
Yeah.
John asked in Sidebar if we'd seen the movie Jeepers Creepers. I did. I also really like that song a lot.
Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers Creepers.
Wasn't
where'd you get
Elijah
those eyes?
Dushku
Like
in
a
it?
Saturday night and just watch random horror shit on YouTube with me?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I would
I'm
totally.
there.
I wanted to watch. He's not here right now, but I wanted to watch Man of Steel with just fewer. So it was
okay.
sweet that everybody invited themselves and kind of ruined my Mac there. But
Oh.
I would love to have group movie night though and watch like horror movies with everybody. Like we could watch Cigarette Burns. It's just an hour long. It's not a huge commitment. Or we could watch Dead Snow, which is really good.
I would love to see that, Remy.
Okay.
I'm down for
Love
Dead
to see
Snow.
it.
See, the thing with me in horror movies, I can sit through them as long as they don't use practical. I mean, not practical effects, CGI effects.
CGI, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Dead Snow is all props. I mean, it's
Oh,
silly.
yeah.
It's silly and scary and funny
Yeah.
and great and
there are
it's
Nazis.
so good. And there's Nazis.
Yeah.
I don't sounded so excited.
You can't. I'll watch
And people
everything
cutting off
but
limbs.
People
What
cutting
would
off
you
their
like
own
to
limbs.
watch, Gwen? What would be a good movie? What would you
anything
do?
that isn't. I'm willing to try anything that isn't zombies. I usually like watching and commentating on horror shorts because I don't know.
I can watch the VHS.
There's like 10-minute commitment, and if it's bad, you
VHS
don't
was
waste
good.
my time.
VHS 2 was okay. I liked VHS 2 bothered me because aliens scare me.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't like
The Aliens
I
one
love
was
that
very
one.
good.
The aliens one was really well done, and hence I do not like it because hello, that scared me.
I love the one where they're in the they're going into the house and there's people doing a fucking ritual in there, and they're coming down the stairs and there's all sorts of like hands reaching at it. I'm sorry.
Sorry, one of my neighbors is doing something. I'm wondering if he's doing it because he can hear me speak, but he shouldn't be able to. And it's just freaking me out.
That's rude, even if that was why he was doing it. But have you seen VHS, Gwen?
VHS?
Oh, they're
Mhm.
good.
No.
Oh yeah.
They're found footage movies where the first one is, I guess the guy's just broke into the house in the first one. But they find these VHS tapes set up in front of a bank of TVs, and it's a horror movie inside a horror movie, and they're really
Yeah, they're
good.
sent to actually get them. They're paid to go get these videos, and so they have to watch through each one.
Oh, wow.
But then in the second one, he was making a documentary, and he had the girl with him, and she was one. They're good. The first one is is good in that it's a little bit more
Experimental?
visceral. It's very raw.
Yeah.
Like it's just got
Oh.
a really raw to.
What's that one?
Yeah,
where they,
remember
like,
Remy, the one where the guy's on vacation with his girlfriend or wife or whatever. You know, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it's like fucking real. Like it's really brutal.
The last one.
I think it's like the next last one where he's
Second one.
in the hotel and he keeps missing stuff. Like he wakes up and his toothbrush is gone or something, and then it turns out that the wife has a friend, stabs him in the throat.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about those shorts, like the
Yes.
shorts that are in that video collection, and it's
Yeah.
presented like videos within videos.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that one.
Like
That's
the
the
first
first.
one was a
That's the
succubus.
first video too. That's
The
the
first
first
one-
And
movie.
actually, in
Right.
the first
And
movie,
then there's
there's
two.
aliens
There's another
too.
two. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
fuck the ones with aliens.
They're
Just
like the
fuck 'em
girl
right
who
in the
gets
A.
like cut up and stuff. Like she's watching or she's visited by aliens in the night, and they like wipe her memory and shit, and like cut
Well, they
the,
were breeding her.
Yeah, right.
Not okay. That's
Yeah.
not
No.
okay.
But do you like the alien movies then, Remy, where they impregnate all the women all the time and have them
Hey,
breed
they
aliens?
impregnated a cyborg.
Oh God, that's just creepy to me.
I'm
Oh, it's
very
supposed to
fond
be.
of Alien and the Aliens movies, but I do not like aliens with almond eyes and creepy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
who's coming to my house
Right.
to spend the night? Because I'm not going to be able to sleep.
I'll be there. Yeah,
I'll be there.
You've got like 17.
Thank you, Nick.
Oh yeah, she only responds to Nick.
He's closest. He's the one that
This
can
is
get here
also
the
true.
fastest.
She's yeah, right. Like,
All right, sleep.
but
come on, girls' night at my house.
these movies are well worth watching. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
they're
the third
fun.
one yet, but
No, there's the second one is the one where it's I think a detective and they're going to this house or something.
Yeah.
Mhm, and it's him.
And
And
then yeah, it's him and
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
the end
It
is
turns
fucked
out
up.
at the end.
The end is fucked up.
Oh, it's so fucked
Yeah.
up. They jump out and like fucking murder
Yeah.
That one
two
as
of them.
well.
It's like
Right.
what?
I love those movies. I love the concept though, more
It's
than
an
the
interesting
execution.
concept. Yeah,
You
Yeah,
know, the found footage applied to that kind of you know, outcome, I guess, is amazing. You know, I love the concept, but some of the shorts in the actual films are hit and miss. Like
Mhm.
there's one that looks totally CGI and it kind of draws you out of it, but there's some that just they're mind blowing.
There's this one I really like. This one I
Yeah.
really like, where it's like they're in the woods,
Oh, they're
but
both
the
on
killer
Netflix.
is like yeah, they're both
Invisible,
on
right?
Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, he's invisible except by camera. You can only see him by camera.
Right. And see, that's actually the one that I was saying was a little bit too CGI.
Mm.
You know, I liked it. It was a good short, but it kind of
the
you know,
zombie
invisibility.
one was good
Yes,
too.
it
Come
was.
to think of it, like that was
Yeah.
a weird way because it was his
Yeah.
head cam and the way that it
Mhm.
transferred. That was really well done too. They're good. I mean, I can't remember why I wasn't raving about them. There was something that set me off with it. Maybe aliens, but
Yeah.
Right. The one where
Nick,
they're
are you okay? Do you need a glass of
breeding the
water?
girl. Nick,
What?
No, I thought it was the one with the dog.
No.
They put the camera on the dog, and then like
So
they get
sweet.
aliens get in the house.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that one.
That was like it's the way they look. The aliens, like
Yeah,
they were all
yeah.
blurry.
And that's what Remy was talking about, the Greys with their big almond eyes.
Yeah, no, cool, not cool. Like I did not enjoy that one at all.
But see, that's what I love. There was something in there, you know, even with the ones that lulled a little bit or looked a little fake, there was something to enjoy throughout the whole movie, you know.
Mhm.
But like the one that fucked me up most was that vacation one, where where that girl stabs him in the throat. That was like, I mean, there was nothing supernatural about it, and it was just a straight up murder. And it was like, wow.
And that's the one where it turns out and her secret lesbian lover is like
Yes.
the hitchhiker they pick up.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's freaky.
Exactly.
See, I haven't seen it again. This is one of the plot summaries I read, and it's like this is my opinion is you don't need if a horror film is good or in a film in general is really good, you can tell by a plot summary or by just reading the plot. You can tell it's like you read the fucking plot for like Alien or some of
It
these things,
interests
it's like,
you. It
It's
captures you.
very intriguing. Like the concepts are there.
You want to
can
watch
see
it after you're done reading. You know?
I don't quite want to watch it, but it's like I'm fascinated by the
Well,
concept.
you don't.
I can see why people want to watch it.
Sure.
I respect the
I
medium.
gotcha.
It makes me respect the medium. It's not
Sure.
for me, but I respect it.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, that's
How about the Wishmaster movies? You guys ever watch those?
don't know.
Any of you?
Wait, what? What is it?
The
What?
Wishmaster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Those are really
I
good.
loved it. I love the line. He goes, she's like, are you trying to kill me or whatever? And he goes, I don't need you dead, Alexandra. I just need you to wish that you were. I love that.
Yeah,
And-
no, those are solidly good
killed it.
movies.
Yeah.
But I like horror, so
Yeah. And
that's
see, I like cheesy horror, like Child's Play 2 through whatever.
Oh yeah.
Is Child's Play the one with the dolls?
Yes.
Yes.
And the first one was really good. It was like a psychological horror movie in it.
Right. That's the one where it's like the German scientist or something.
Huh?
Yes.
No.
I think it was something else.
Child's Play.
I'm thinking
something else.
It's the one where Wormtail from Lord of the Rings is killed and transfers his soul into a body, and it happens to be a doll.
Oh, Chucky. That's the
Yes.
Chucky series.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. No, but there's a similar one where it's like these certain dolls, and they're in the first couple they're
You're
murderers.
talking about,
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I
then
know
the later
that.
ones that are like heroes, and they work with the American government
talking
against
about-
Germans. It's weird.
You're talking about the
about
dolls
the-
with the drills? The drill on his head and all that?
You're talking about the
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master series. That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was interesting.
Yeah, I actually did like those.
They get silly after a while when the murderers start becoming quote unquote good guys. It gets a little silly.
And I thought it was ridiculous when the one doll is just drilling through that person's head, Just like, it's like, come on, man. That's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I love those movies too. So.
By the way,
Very interesting.
can I just state something real quick? If you randomly hear two different voices coming out from my mic, it's because my brother's near me.
It's because It's because he's gotten in contact with Satan.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm channeling the devil. Buy my records.
So I'm on Rotten Tomato looking at the top 100 horror movies, and their number one is the 1920 The Cabinet of Dr. Kilgari, which is a beautiful movie. They have Nosferatu.
Nosferatu is a golden oldie.
Sure.
With
Max Schreck.
Repulsion, which I've not seen, and it has a 100% rating. What is this? It came out in 1965. How have I not seen this movie?
You will need to rectify that situation.
I do. When Carol, a shy young Belgian, is left alone for a few days in the Kensington flat she shares with her sister, she begins to withdraw, and lots of plot. So yeah, I'll have to check that out. So that's number 3. Number 4 is King Kong, which it's a monster movie. I wouldn't have even think to include that. But the original King Kong from 1933.
Right, of course.
Question. Going back to Nosferatu, what's that name of that film that has like, it's like they're trying to film Nosferatu so they get like a real vampire, is
it the one that has, oh my god, my brain just fell out my ear.
Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah.
Shadow of the... No.
That's what Jason said.
Yes, with Malkovich and Defoe is in it. Yeah, that's a really good movie too. Anything that John Malkovich is in is good though. And Udo Kier is in that as well, and he is just wonderfully creepy in everything that he does. But yeah, Shadow of the Vampire came out in 2000. Really? That came out in 2000? But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that movie. Eddie Izzard was in it too. Number 5. So Rotten Tomato really likes old movies. Number 5 is The Bride of Frankenstein, which came out in 1935.
I can see that being a horror film. First Frankenstein. I have seen the first Frankenstein. I do remember that one, and that's kind of horror one.
Frankenstein's really good. Psycho is number 6.
It's a little freaky when he's in the window of what's her name, his bride.
Mm-hmm.
Of Victor's bride's window. That freaks me out.
Hold on.
But yeah, that was.
I would differentiate between horror and thriller, though. Personally, that's just me, though. Like Psycho's more of a thriller than a horror.
I'm still trying to wonder if you classify King Kong as a horror movie.
I wouldn't consider King Kong.
But it's a monster movie, though, so why wouldn't monsters be considered horrific?
I did say earlier, though, the fact that there's like a monster or a ghost or something doesn't mean that it is a horror movie, but that if it was a horror movie and it has a monster of some sort, then it would fit into the horror monster category.
Okay,
No,
then
but-
does 1954 Godzilla count then? Because
Yes.
Yes.
That
I
was
guess
actually
it would, because
Gojira is absolutely 100% a horror movie.
yeah, because that's more of a story of nuclear science gone totally wrong.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's actually number 12 on this list is Gojira. So.
I would rank that above King Kong, but that's just me.
Yeah, same here.
But I think the other thing is that with this list is if you're looking at the time, that movie made in 1933 is fairly impressive.
Yes.
They have Rosemary's Baby on here. The One I'll Fight is Let the Right One In. I didn't consider that to be a horror movie in the slightest.
Which one's that one?
The little girl who's a vampire.
Oh, that one. Okay. No,
Well,
I
technically,
can see why it
not
is.
a little girl. Technically,
Well,
not.
yes, but no. But that just seemed more of a really tragically sad and broken coming of age movie more than a horror
Yeah.
movie. And then when you realize at the end that he is trapped into the role that the older, that movie was just sad. It just made me sad. They have Aliens as number 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I could see that one.
Because that mean the first Aliens is like holy shit. That was pretty much your reaction most of the movie.
I'd say Alien is more of a horror movie, and Aliens is more of an action movie. I wouldn't say it's 100%.
Ooh, I would say Aliens is very horror too.
Like, because like people say, oh, it's over top action. Like, there's only like really 2 action scenes in the whole film. But when they first encounter aliens, they were like the aliens are coming to them, and that's like do any really guns ho part because they have like an advantage because they're like fortified.
Yeah.
Aliens counts as horror because it follows the 10 Little Indians idea,
Oh, true.
which is a big staple in horror.
Yeah, but then again, Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, it follows the 10 Little Indians things, but it's like not. I didn't find that to be a horror movie.
I know it is. I think it would be classified as.
I mean, it was freaky to be sure, but I
It's-
viewed it more like I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was like, this is action adventure. He's gonna blow shit up, and he did.
But it's the fact that
Get
they're
to the
hunted.
top.
The fact that they're hunted though.
I
And
guess.
the effect that has on the characters, that's what makes it horror. Actually,
I don't
can I
know.
just say that while I don't think it was a great film, the Predators movie, where they're taken to that island and hunted, or that movie, that place on Hunted, I thought that was
Was that a
interesting.
Predators.
I officially love this list.
But here's probably why I liked it, or I thought the plot was cool, was that at the end, the one guy who's all kind of quiet and stuff, and they don't know what he's really there for. Turns out he's a deranged, like fucking rapist or something.
yeah?
That was like, oh, okay, well, fuck.
So this list has movies I've not seen. They have Pan's Labyrinth as number 15, which
That
I
is an
completely-
amazing movie. One of my
I hate
favorite
that
foreign
movie so
films.
much.
Really?
I hate that movie so.
Oh, but I loved it.
so
How can
Okay, I no longer
much.
want
Can't be friends anymore.
No, like that movie is absolutely. How can people watch that movie more than once? I was completely inconsolable at the end. Like when I watch something, I want to take some pleasure from it. Like things can be sad.
Oh, it was a
I'm a
tragic
crier.
ending.
I'm a crier. Trust me, I cry in movies. I got kicked out of Wall-E by my daughter. Because
What?
he was in the trash compactor and she goes, Wall-E! I started crying so hard. I had the hiccups and my daughter was like in the hall, just go. So she has to pre-watch movies, like kids movies for me, otherwise I'm useless.
Just watch- So when you watch Land Before Time,
Oh no, God.
You shut your whore mouth.
No, that movie made me so sad when I was little. I still have my little puppet from Pizza Hut. Anyway.
I remember
Man,
that
what are you
movie.
talking about? I got the plush of Littlefoot.
now see, as a kid, that was a thrill. Like that movie
was
had all the
terrifying.
feels when I
Sorry,
was a
not
kid.
terrifying,
Not
but
the,
it
not the
was sad.
sequels.
No, yeah, the first. Although 2 was good. I
Land
really
Before
enjoyed number 2 as
Time
well.
And Bambi back to back as a kid.
Oh,
Yeah, I think part of
All
it though
those
is like
feels.
with the sequels for Land Before Time, like you get older as the sequels come out.
Mm-hmm.
So like initially when I first saw Land Before Time, I was like 6 years old. So like Bigfoot's mom, and then like the T-Rex, I was scared shitless when the T-Rex came out. And then by the time Land Before Time 3 comes out, I'm like 8, 9. I'm starting to become jaded in the ways of the world. I'm like, yeah, whatever. They
Yeah,
have one
but,
crunchy leaf.
see,
Oh,
see,
fuck
Because
that.
I'm
by the
younger-
time you're
here's the
by the
thing,
time
I'm
you're
younger
9
than
years old,
you, so-
But by the time you're 9 years old, you're so jaded. You've seen it all. You know.
I mean, like the death and the killing and just everything. I can't,
Yawn,
whatever.
kissing, yawn.
By the way, side note about totally different topics, slasher horror movies. I love the movie House of Wax. Not for the plot, not for anything else, but because you get to see Paris Hilton die.
Hey, she's really, really sweet.
I'm sure she
and
is,
really, really
but
stupid.
She's like one of my favorite
No, she's
people.
really not. She's really excellent at marketing herself. When she was in
That's true.
oh god, and there goes my brain falling.
Don't
Care
take
Bears
away my
movie.
shallow hate of her, okay?
Here's the thing, Remy. Here's the thing. Today, she pays people to take photos of her. Look like they're stalking her. 'Cause that's how.
That's again. Just remember, she's very good at marketing herself. When she was in, oh my gosh, this is gonna drive me crazy. So,
Are you saying this based on like? Are you saying she's a nice person based on like interviews you've seen of her?
No, on personal interaction. I cannot remember Terrence's movie that came out before The Devil's Carnival. Blah blah.
Genetic Opera.
Thank you so much. So
I love that movie too.
On Repo Set, she was a joy. She was super nervous. She threw up like first day after her first scene with Terrence because she was so nervous that she wasn't going to do well. And she's just super nice and super genuine. She was so sweet to all of the extras, and there was no reason for her to talk to us. Like, they were super protective and could have kept her away, and she didn't have to interact with the weird, creepy kids that were there, but she wanted to. And she came on Repo Tour and interacted and really cared about her audience.
Remy.
Now you're making me feel bad for like
I'm
rewinding
sorry,
that
I'll
part
stop.
of the movie
She sucks.
and
She's
laughing
so...
maniacally when she dies.
Did you
I feel
see?
so
She
bad now.
also went on Supernatural and made fun of herself in that movie. I mean, she's super
Okay,
self-deprecating.
that I will accept.
Okay, so wait, so going back to Pan's Labyrinth, because I'm not understanding. You don't like the movie because it left you an emotional wreck at the end?
Like, I want to have some sort of... I want to walk away from the movie and go, oh, I got this. And all I got from that was that I desperately wanted to jump off my house. Like, there was nothing... I didn't learn anything. I didn't come away from it inspired to do something or I can watch really bad things happen and it'll inspire me to write or to take some sort of action or to do something. I just walked away from that just completely emotionally stripped. Like, I was just like, oh my god, I have nothing. And I clung to my kid. I mean, that was it. I hugged my daughter really tight and was just like, never watch this movie, oh my god.
Really? Because
that was it.
Because the first time I watched it was with a group of people in a wooden cabin during the middle of a winter storm.
Wait.
Did you want to go jump off the roof after watching it?
No, I was in tears, but I was like, that was like a really beautiful, like a sad but sort of happy, because I'm not gonna wreck the end, but like in the end, the bad guy dies and the girl doesn't, and blah 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 blah.
That's not what happened, though.
I'm not gonna ruin it, but
I know, but that's the thing. I guess I watched it and I took it to mean something that maybe people that enjoyed it didn't take it to mean, because it does leave it open to interpretation.
There really was no moral of the story type of deal. I get that. There really isn't. It is a story. It's just a story in and of itself. It doesn't really have a point. It's like a tragic yet beautiful story, in my mind.
Yeah, see, the beauty was just lost on me because yeah, I couldn't do it. I tried, I couldn't. Too much for me. I have a soft spot for kids too.
I forgive you. It's okay though. You watch a lot of horror that I probably couldn't stomach. Like, I tried to watch Final Destination with a girl that I almost dated once, and I swear to you, no, because this is what happened. I had my head buried in her shoulder half the movie.
Oh no!
Oh no! There's a sign. It's gonna. Oh fuck!
No, I'm with you there. It's like it's the.
I was like,
it just feels
why?
pointless. It's
Why
like, I
is
don't
that
care
this
for
weird
this.
thing that why does it have to be so retributive? Like, you're gonna get him in the end. Why? What the fuck, man?
Well, what about stuff they have the Silence of the Lambs on this list? So where does that fall with you guys? Is that too much, or?
I'm gonna be honest.
Great psychological stuff. Again, can't watch it. Too well done, I think.
For some reason, when I watch horror, I have this thing where like I do exceedingly well in the real life whenever there's some kind of emergency or tragedy. Like I just like snap into place and I just like do everything that needs to be done. So when I watch a movie that's like horror or something that's going horribly wrong, my experience of it is, holy fuck, why are they doing this? This is so fucking stupid. I need to get like, and I feel like I have to go do something, but I can't do anything because it's a fucking movie. And so I know people, so I have to be like, I need to watch people die now. And it's like a terrible feeling for me.
Mm. That's kind of, I guess that's kind of part of the reason why I don't dislike watching horror films.
That's why I can
visualize it all I want. That's fine. I can visualize it in my mind. I can enjoy the story. That's fine. But like, I just don't care for in some like seeing it on the screen. In that case, there's something about it adds a degree of over the top and pointlessness for me.
Right.
Like war movies are one thing. Those are like, okay,
yeah.
I can sit in my mind in the context of this. This is war. This is people fighting it. That's fine. The other things is just like I don't follow. I don't care. This is just pointless.
Okay, guys, we got 2 minutes left on this segment. So
okay.
Let
me just say this. When it comes to movies that I think the kind of horror movie that I don't like is the one where they're intending to make you feel scared, which is the broad stroke of most horror movies. I can't because I don't get scared. I deal with shit. So like I can do comedy horror just fine. Like
I just recommend one movie.
Hilarious. Shaun of the Dead was hilarious. I can watch those.
Shaun of the Dead's fucking masterpiece.
The end scene, man. The end scene is just fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Odd Thomas is a really good book series for horror and a good movie if you like a little bit of comedy in your horror.
Yeah.
Sinister.
I mean, I even
that's the one where it's that's the one where they see things through that old film, and then it starts to show up. Yeah. That's actually a really good concept. I kind of like that one.
I don't know if I may have tuned out for part of the discussion. Did anyone talk about Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
No.
No.
I watched that not when it first came out because I wasn't alive at that point, but I started watching that. It was just the idea of killer fruit. It was just such cheesy.
And Clowns from Outer Space
because it was so bad.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's a great movie.
Yeah, that and the Tomatoes movies are like you got to watch those two together.
I don't know if it was
been a
intended
lovely
to be
discussion.
a funny horror, but it turned out to be a comedy horror today.
I hope they meant it to be funny and not serious. Wasn't George Clooney in that?
Was he?
Mm. While we're on the subject of a related topic to horror, which is thriller, but not, or maybe it's suspense. I don't know. The movie Hannah, for those who haven't seen it, if you like kind of thriller
with
suspense
Liam
stuff.
Neeson?
Yes. No. Eric Bana. And,
1 minute.
And the girl from The Lovely Bones too. She was there.
Is that
It's.
the girl blonde in that? Yeah.
Huh?
The girl blonde in that. Is it from 2011? I guess.
Yeah. 2011, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's
okay.
a very good movie.
So we're at 12 o'clock.
Not horror, but people should watch it. Anyway,
We're at 12
thanks.
o'clock, guys. So
Next segment.
yeah, it's
So
time for the
horror
next
is fun, guys, unless you don't like horror.
Well, we've got to move
That's the
strings.
moral of that
because,
story.
Raisins.
Mhm.
So, quit being faggots and.
Also, don't watch horror movies with a girl unless you can stomach it better than her.
Well, no, some girls find it endearing and will comfort you and take care of you. You just have to be doing it with the right girl.
I'm not saying I wasn't successful in my endeavors, but
I think Rotten.
Nice backpedal.
I think Rotten is dead.
Likely.
likely from zombie bite or vampire, or did a vampire seduce him?
Oh, I hear him. Are you gonna Rye?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm kicking ass in Smash Brothers. What's up?
It's time to start this
Our
segment.
gracious host who has been paying such
Alright,
great attention to the stream.
Thank you for tuning in to this part of the weekly grind. Click the link below to join us in part 4.
While I play